All right, YouTubers. So we're on the part 2 of fixing this the claws on this wheel lift. And like I said before, I had to actually take a different approach to fixing this, being because I couldn't get the pin out for the hydraulic piston here that closes and opens the claw. It's seized in there. I didn't order the bushing, and I need to get this truck into service ASAP. So we ended up taking out a little piece of bar that was here, slide this piston this way, and that gave us enough room to pop the old bushing, the broken bushing out, and put the new one in. One thing I'm going to say is, since I couldn't walk this over to the press, I actually had to manhandle it in. So what I ended up doing was I ended up putting the bushing right on top of the piece here. I took the pin, slid it into the bushing, and I hammered it down. And you can see she goes in nice and easy. It didn't compromise the bushing. These nylon bushings are extremely tough, so don't be afraid to wail on it, you know. But you have to put something on there that's going to be flat against the surface. Don't go hitting it around the corner, because that's how you're going to cave that bushing in. Now, this isn't like a service procedure. This is kind of like redneck in it. I'm sure people like Detroit Wreckers or Jerr or anybody has the proper tools to do this stuff, because they do this stuff day in and day out. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be coming over here and we're going to be welding the pin that broke. So this was the pin that broke off and caused the point of failure. And that was doing parts of the bushing being worn, caused a lot of play. This piece was completely bent, and I had to heat it up and straighten it out, so I got it nice and straight now. So we're going to take the piece that broke off, we're going to position it into place, and we're going to weld away. And I'm hoping probably in the next hour I can fire this baby up and everything works as planned, hopefully. Alright, we're going to start welding, and just in case anybody's wondering what kind of welder I'm using a Snap-on 250 SL. I got this welder not too long ago. I'm not a welder, but let me tell you, this freaking welder is awesome. This welder makes my welds look professional. I bought this from my local Snap-on rep, Brandon. Highly recommend this welder. It's worth the freaking money. So, anyways, like I said, I'm not a professional welder, but I can make two pieces of metal stick together, and that's what I intend on doing here. This isn't a structural point. It's all just there to pivot and close the arms and stuff, so there's nothing really structural about this, and that's that. So let's start welding. Of course, I misplaced my gloves. I got one glove. I got mismatching gloves. They're both the same hand. Alright, well, whatever. So we're just gonna tack this in, grind it down so that it's nice and flush, and that's pretty much it. To change my setting there, she was she wasn't hot enough. Alright, so we're waiting for this to cool off. We're going to, we welded that pin back in. I'm going to walk over to the grinder. I'm going to grind it nice and flush so that it doesn't hang up on anything. And we're going to throw this thing back together, and we're going to see what happens. You know, wish me luck. Alright, YouTubers, so this is the piece that we welded on. You can see I welded it there. Make sure that if you end up having this issue, you weld that sucker on there straight, because you don't want to put it in there cockeyed. You probably won't be able to get it into the bushing. So that pretty much goes like that. And then you got the other top piece, and the top piece slides over the two pins there. Your bushing sits in the middle, and your snap ring goes up here. And that's what holds all these linkages together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slide this in here, and we're going to knock this cylinder back into place. And I'm hoping, I don't know yet, I'm hoping that I have enough clearance on the other side to be able to put this on. And probably the hardest part is going to be putting this damn snap ring in with that limited amount of space. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, I guess I will be ordering that bushing, and I'm going to torch that motherfucker out, punch it out, and off to the races we go. Alright, YouTubers, so I pretty much have it all put back together. We welded the little bar that I was telling you about that I had to cut before. I guess this bar just prevents the hydraulic hoses from rubbing against the pivot point to the L-arm, which is right there. You see the pin that goes through there? This isn't really a bad unit to work on. I was expecting it to be tough to work with, but they actually made it really easy for you to get to most of this stuff. I didn't realize there was a cover back here you can take off, so that made things really, really easy. It ended up working out the way I planned, so I ended up putting everything together here, knocking the cylinder back that way, and then coming around this side and putting in my snap rings. So you can see we're all together there now. I'm gonna jump in the truck and hit the controls, and we'll see if my my arms work. And once that's, if they end up working and everything works the way it should, I'm just gonna temporarily, I'm gonna tack weld the pins to the crossbar. Because I couldn't find any bolts that are beveled. Jerr uses these special bolts, low profile bolts that bevel in there, and I couldn't find any. All the ones that originally were here, I ended up having to cut them off. They're hex, and they're actually Allen keys you had to use to them. I ended up rounding them off, so I ended up just cutting them out and doing away with them. So I'm going to probably order those directly from Jerr. But for the time being, a little spot weld here, a little spot weld there. Isn't going to cause any harm to the unit. And all right, let's jump in the truck and see what happens. All right, let's see if she works. Alright, YouTubers, so my claws are working. The only issue I have is now I got a hydraulic leak coming from one of the lines. I was a little rough on one of the lines. Actually, I was a little rough on both of them. And I might have I might have upset the line, so not a big deal. The claws are working. I'll just run to Napa tomorrow and get some hydraulic lines made. But other than that, it was pretty successful. And this was just a quick fix just so I can get this going. I'm going to end up doing the other side as well, but what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to be replacing all the pins and bushings associated with the crossbar. The crossbar pin, the main pin itself, the swivel, that was done some time ago, so I'm not too concerned about that. But all the ones for the claws are going to end up getting done just because, you know, I don't like having breakdowns or anything like that and having downtime. So, you know, this will keep me going for a couple weeks, but we're eventually going to address the whole thing. I've done videos on how, you know, if you're an owner operator, you should learn how to do some of this stuff. And, you know, because this will save you money. This will save you money and time. You know, I'm doing this on a Saturday. You know, nobody's going to want to do this for me on a Saturday. You don't have to wait till Monday. I dropped it off Monday. I'm not going to get my truck back until Wednesday. This was a fairly easy job. It could be a little difficult if you don't have certain things like torches and plasma cutters and welders. That's where you'll probably have issues. But, you know, if you're going to be in it for the long run, invest in some of those things and start fixing your equipment yourself. This is going to save you a ton of money. It's going to save you a ton of headaches. This wasn't really a big deal for me because I got two flatbeds. So this is, like I said in the first video, this is my own personal truck. I use this to take my kids to school every morning. It's my commuter. So it doesn't really do any towing. If anything, it does more winching than towing. But you know what? I wanted to fix that just in case, you know, I end up having to use it. But as of right now, everything was successful. I didn't get to do it per manufacturer, you know, repair procedures because I ran into some other issues with that pin being seized up on the hydraulic cylinder itself. So I had to kind of manipulate it and work my way around certain things to be able to complete the job. But as of right now, she's good, you know, other than a hydraulic leak. But oh well. So what I'll probably end up doing is doing all the hydraulic hoses back there. Probably going to be less than $100 in hoses. So I'm very particular when it comes to hydraulic hoses because nothing is more embarrassing than pulling up to a customer's driveway, freshly sealed driveway, nice black top, and you blow a hydraulic line on there. Before you know it, you're going to be paying to reseal that driveway again. So that's my advice to you. Hydraulic hoses, replace them. The moment you see them cracking, just replace them. Yes, it can be expensive, but fixing somebody else's driveway can be expensive. And when these things go, they they dump a ton of freaking fluid. You know, it's also an environmental issue. So think about the hazard to the environment that you can be causing. And DEC tickets are not cheap. So fix your hydraulic hoses the moment you see that they're deteriorating. But anyways, hit like and subscribe. If anybody's got any questions or anything, if anybody wants some feedback on what do I think about the MPL40, let me know. I'll probably do a video on that. And slow down, move over, be careful out there. And once again, it's just Luis from On-Site Towing in Middletown, New York. Thanks for watching.